Hey guys, this is David with Worship Leader Hangout, where we talk about the many aspects of leading worship and leading a worship team. And today we're talking about piano riffs that you can use in Christian contemporary music. Okay? So maybe you're a beginner piano player, I'm assuming, and you're like, man, I'm tired of playing the same way all the time. I just feel like I play my chords like this. And maybe sometimes you may even do this, right? Some variation of that, but you're like, man, I want to get outside of that. Well, today we're going to do that. We are talking about CCM riffs, and really we're stealing these riffs from the guitar player in the band because guitar players are kind of the dominant instrument within Christian contemporary music, which is a subgenre, I think, of rock, right? So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the song Here I Am to Worship, and the progression is a 1, 5, 6, 4, okay? And now, instead of playing the block chords in that fashion, we are going to play this sus2 riff, okay? So, what is a sus2 chord? A C sus2 chord would be a C, D, and a G. What we're doing is, instead of playing the major chord, we are taking the third degree of the C major scale and we're bringing it down to the second degree of the C major scale, which is D. Because it's the second degree that gives us our suspended chord. And the reason why it's called a suspended chord, I'm assuming, is because the chord has not resolved. So it feels unfinished, right? And it doesn't feel finished until you get back to the third of the scale. So, all right, enough of that. Now this is what the riff sounds like. Here I am to worship. All right. What I did was I sort of arpeggiated those notes, and I'm thinking along the lines of the drummer, right? So that G is my snare. 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And kind of in my left hand, I'm thinking that this is my kick. And then the C and the D are kind of like my hi-hats, right? So a very important aspect of Christian contemporary music is the drums, right? Like, so you have to adapt to what the main instruments are playing. Like, CCM does not work well without the drummer. That's why most churches, a special service is an acoustic service. A special service is not a service where the drummer is there, right? Think rhythmically. That's very important, okay? So, using a sus2 chord, you can come up with like different types of riffs, okay? Another chord that you can use would be a sus4 chord, right? And it follows the same principle as the sus2. Instead of playing the third degree of that scale, we're going to play the fourth degree, which is F, right? Fourth degree, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives us a sus4 chord. All right, now let's try using that same song with this application. Here I am to worship. All right, do you see what I did there? everything was rhythmically based off of what I did prior. Um, Now, what we're going to do, we're going to combine everything, right? So instead of playing a sus4 all the time or a sus2 all the time, we are going to mix it up. So, here I am to worship. All right. That should give you enough ideas, especially if this is unfamiliar to you. Notice something that we did not do. We did not move from this C major chord area, right? We played a C sus2, C sus4, but we didn't leave the C area. Now, you can even have more ideas if you leave the area and you follow that same principle. So instead of just playing the C sus2 and C sus4, you can play in a G sus2 when you go to the G chord. You can play a sus2 when you go to the A minor chord, and so on and so forth. Whatever chord you go to, you can figure out the sus2 and the sus4 chords that are relative to where you are. So here's an example of that. Here I am to worship. All right. Well, I hope that was enough for you. If it wasn't, I have one more thing. And I thought about making another video about it, but honestly, I'm just going to tell you right now, and maybe we'll talk about it further in a video down the line, or maybe, we may never review this again. Who knows, right? But I like to play a C9 omit the 5, okay? And so like this is a C major 9 chord. This is the 1, D is the 2 or the 9, right? We're not going to explain that theory right now. This is the 5 and B is the 7, okay? And I like to play that particular chord especially on the 4th degree of the scale. So if we move that, right, we can move it up here. Okay? So now let's just try doing that with the same song. Here I am to worship. So here I am to worship. Okay, now we're gonna add that F9 omitting the 5. Okay, so here I am to worship. All right. And remember, I'm thinking rhythmically to fit along with what the drummer or what the guitar player are probably doing, okay? So I don't want to say exactly what I'm doing because sometimes you have to readjust to fit the song. But things to think about would be, what is the snare doing? What is the bass drum doing, okay? And how can I fit along with that? So something I would like to say is this, that many piano players, they actually take away from the music, I find, because they don't know where they fit. So and it's no fault to them, but they're thinking, okay, I have a responsibility to play the chords of the song, and they do that, right? But a lot of times by actually doing something simple, I have found, or not thinking like, what is my responsibility within this, or where do I fit, they actually like take away from the song. And sometimes I hate to say it, but I've told the piano player, hey, just play pad, because that that kind of like hid them within the music rather than playing the piano, because the piano is a percussive instrument. Most people don't like to think of it like that, but it really is. So you have to think percussively when you're playing with it, okay? And think about the guitar player, the drummer, the bass player. Like, how can what you do fit into what they're doing? All right. That's enough talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, I'm going to provide you with some sus2 and sus4 chords in all of your keys in a chart below. All right, so feel free to download that. Also, go and check us out at worshipleaderhangout.com, where you can find many courses and other resources to help you improve your playing. But until next time, remember this: great worship leaders are always learning, and you better hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.